Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, dear students, today we'll be talking about another important reaction in the carbonyl compounds. That's your Cannizaro reaction. So basically, what this Cannizaro reaction is, as you can see here, that two molecules of an aldehyde. But it is very important to remember that which type of aldehyde it should be. It should be a non-enolizable aldehyde. So there are two types of aldehyde. One is enolizable, that means which contains alpha hydrogen. And there is another type of aldehyde which is non-enolizable, that is which doesn't contain alpha hydrogen. So Cannizaro's reaction involves two molecules of an aldehyde which is non-enolizable. For example, your acetaldehyde molecule. So your R here, you can take R as your benzene ring. So two molecules of an aldehyde, they will combine together in presence of base. So what is formed? An alcohol and carboxylic acid. So we know that this carbonyl compound, it has C double bond O. If you oxidize a carbonyl compound, you will end up with carboxylic acid. That is the higher level of oxidation of any carbonyl compound. So that means our one molecule is getting converted into the higher oxidation level, that is carboxylic acid. So हम ये कह सकते हैं this is oxidation, while as another molecule is getting converted to alcohol. But alcohol जो है, it is the lower level of oxidation of your carbonyl. That means what you are basically doing, we are doing the reduction reaction. So I will show it by H. So basically ये जो दो molecules है, among these two molecules, one undergoes oxidation to form carboxylic acid and the second molecule that undergoes reduction to form alcohol. Now such a process, it's called a disproportionation reaction. So this is your disproportionation reaction. Disproportionation means self-oxidation, self-reduction. Means, so we have had two molecules, so one molecule undergoes conversion into the carboxylic acid and the second molecule, it undergoes conversion into the alcohol. So this is in general the Cannizaro's reaction. But how this occurs, what are the basics behind it, so that we'll see in the next slide. So let's move to the next slide. So this is what let us define now the Cannizaro's reaction. So Cannizaro reaction, it's a chemical reaction named after the person who designed this reaction. That is your S. Cannizaro. So this is the name of the scientist, you should say. So what it does, it involves the base-induced disproportionation reaction. Base-induced disproportionation of two molecules of non-enolizable aldehyde, जो हम अभी discuss कर रहे थे. So what do you need? Number one, you need an non-enolizable aldehyde like benzaldehyde, and also you need a base, for example sodium hydroxide. So what will happen if you have two non-enolizable aldehydes and then you have base also, they will disproportionate to form what they will form, a carboxylic acid molecule and a primary alcohol. This is number one. Number two, now if an aldehyde without an alpha hydrogen, so alpha hydrogen means, for example, I will write a compound here. We discussed this many times, but again, a carbon adjacent to the carbonyl, that is your alpha carbon, and if this alpha carbon contains hydrogen atoms, they are called as alpha hydrogen atoms. Fine. So now if you have an aldehyde without alpha hydrogen, that means in this case we don't need these alpha hydrogens, so you can take the molecule of benzaldehyde, the special example. So this is your benzaldehyde molecule. the ideal molecule to understand the Cannizaro reaction. This is carbon, adjacent to this is your alpha carbon, and here we don't have any hydrogen, alpha hydrogen. So this is your non-enolizable aldehyde. Now, so he says second point, if an aldehyde without the alpha hydrogen is made to react with formaldehyde, that means instead of taking two carbonyl molecules, two similar molecules, you take one benzaldehyde and take another formaldehyde. So if we take your one benzaldehyde molecule and second formaldehyde molecule, ये दोनों ऐसे molecules हैं जिनमें alpha hydrogen नहीं है. So what will happen? यहाँ पे भी we will be having that Cannizaro reaction, but that Cannizaro reaction can be called as the cross Cannizaro reaction. जैसे हमने aldehyde में देखा था, in the aldol condensation there is cross aldol condensation, crossed aldol condensation. So in general, अगर हमारे पास दो molecules are similar which do not contain the alpha hydrogen, it's called as a Cannizaro reaction. अगर वो दो molecules हैं which do not contain the alpha hydrogen, they are different. So that can be called as the crossed aldol, the cross Cannizaro reaction. So this is your cross Cannizaro reaction. To understand this, let's go to the mechanism. देखिए, ये आपका molecule number 1 है, and this is our benzaldehyde molecule. Fine, very simple. Since it doesn't contain the alpha hydrogen, so this is an ideal candidate for Cannizaro reaction number 1. Now we have the base. So base will undergo the nucleophilic addition here at this carbon, because we have this carbon oxygen bond. Oxygen is highly electronegative. In presence of this base, this pi bond will move towards oxygen. So carbon gets a plus charge. So now we have the nucleophilic addition. So क्या बनेगा यहाँ पे? Now this carbon contains OH and O negative. In the second step, we have base present in the medium, hydroxide ion. It takes a proton from this OH, because this is polarized bond. So when it takes a proton, now oxygen has negative. So both these oxygen molecules, they have a negative charge. So ये तो हो गया process with the one molecule. So one benzaldehyde molecule has got converted to dianion. It's called dianion because we have two anionic oxygen atoms. ये तो एक molecule के साथ हो गया process. उसके बाद second step में जो दूसरा आपका molecule है, दूसरा benzaldehyde molecule, that receives hydride ion from this. Hydride ion means hydrogen with a negative charge. Means ये जो bond है along with the hydrogen atom, it gets transferred to this carbon. To this carbon. So यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ it's intermolecular hydride shift. Means दो molecules के बीच में hydride gets transferred. It transfers from one molecule to the next. It's called intermolecular hydride shift. So इससे क्या result होगा? Result is that ये जो molecule था, now this oxygen gets negative charge. So it's here. So result is that you have, so when the hydride comes here, assume we have hydride coming here with a negative, so it becomes oxygen negative here. So this is oxygen negative. Okay? So let me show it here. So you have benzene ring. So after the hydride shift, so what we get oxygen negative charge, and then we have hydrogen, and then another one which got added. Now ये जो anionic species है, it takes proton from the water. So what it forms? This compound. So what is this compound? Benzene, CH2OH. That's alcohol. So this is the molecule formed. So this molecule got converted to alcohol. अब ये जो molecule हमारे पास था यहाँ पे. Now let's focus on this molecule. When this hydride got transferred, so I will make it like this. You have benzene. This is your benzene molecule. Oxygen negative. Oxygen negative. This is another oxygen negative. Okay. Now this is plus because hydride has got transferred this carbon. So from one of these oxygen atoms, they will give this negative charge, this lone pair toward this bond pair. So what you will get result? You will get a double bond between this and this oxygen and a negative charge here. Oxygen bearing negative charge, it will receive a proton from water, so it becomes carboxylic acid. So this is what it becomes. It receives proton from the water, so it becomes your carboxylic acid. The result ये हुआ that when the two molecules of aldehyde were there, one got converted to the carboxylic acid and second got converted to the alcohol. So this is your disproportionation reaction. So the two non-enolizable molecules. Non-enolizable means those aldehydes which do not contain the alpha hydrogen. If they don't contain the alpha hydrogen, they cannot be converted into the enol, keto-enol type tautomerism, which we have discussed earlier also. So two non-enolizable aldehydes or two aldehydes which do not contain alpha hydrogen, they disproportionate, that is they undergo self-oxidation, self-reduction in presence of base to give a carboxylic acid and to give an alcohol. So this is your Cannizaro reaction. तो ये आपकी Cannizaro reaction होगी. This is very simple reaction. I hope you might have understood this. And इसके अलावा भी, if further you want to understand, I'm attaching this PDF file in the description. Link is in the description. Please click that, download that, and certainly if you have any question, any query, write down in the comments, or you write down in the group, or write down message on my personal number on the WhatsApp. So inshallah we'll solve that. So this is all about your important Cannizaro reaction, jahan se always you see a question in the competitive exams. So now we have one topic left, that is the manic reaction. Inshallah we'll see that tomorrow. So hope our this carbonyl chemistry finishes with that particular topic, and then we'll move ahead. Thank you. This is all for today.